Good afternoon, everyone, as it is noon, and welcome to Talking Horses. Welcome back as a four-day week of racing gets underway. It's Thursday. We'll be racing through the weekend here. 8-race card today and tomorrow as well. Andy Serling, soon to be joined by Anthony Stabile. You know the drill. Head on over to Naira Bets. You're not a member. We'll match up to a $200 deposit. Use the promo code Big A. Try to figure this one out. 2 times your win bet payout on race 1, min $5 win bet. I don't know what it's capped at. It would be nice if they told us what it's capped at, because I'm assuming it is. That's at Delta on Thursdays through the app. Big A with a haircut.
Yeah, I went on Monday night, I want to say. It was time to, Ruben over in Franklin Square at the neighborhood barbershop.
You get the free haircut if you touted on Talking Horses?
No, we have the same birthday. Ruben's become a good friend. He does a great job, and Ruben actually waited for me to come to the shop. Yep.
Well, and look at the shout out he's getting on Talking Horses. They're probably lining up in his place right now.
By the way, 555 for that opener at Delta. Yeah, Ruben does a fantastic. 50 years they've been there. Ruben bought the place like 3 years ago. We share a love of Jack Daniels and our birthday. So he does an amazing job. And
you do have a love of your birthday. You are in love with your birthday.
I love my birthday. Yeah, it's a Tuesday this year, so no Talking Horses, no calling races. Yeah.
Gee, I hope I don't forget.
You won't. I'll remind you numerous times.
I'm sure you will. Today's first race. We both took the same horse. How about it?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what to do in here, so I went to Perimeter. Are we going with that? Perimeter? Yeah, Perimeter's with an E though, right? Anyway.
I'm thinking it's a play on Perimeter and the sire being Purim.
Purim, yeah. All right, I guess. This horse has a race back in August at Monmouth Park that would absolutely bury this field. There's not much recent form to go on here.
Well, I don't think the last race was that bad, actually, and the horse is dropping precipitously off his last race, and that race actually fell apart. The speed finished 6th in there, and he was chasing the speed. So if you look at the race, it was really more of a race that just didn't want to be on the pace. So I don't think he ran well last time. I don't think it's really as bad an effort as it looks, and all you have to do is have any kind of excuse, because you look at the horses in here. We'll take a look at 7 Lilies, 2 back, who didn't run well at all last time out, but 2 back ran okay. And you talk about this horse and Eden Ridge. I'm not a huge fan. I don't know what to do with Eden Ridge. The horse was claimed at Belterra last time. This horse was claimed by Jeffrey Englehart for himself actually there. I was surprised to see that. Captain Frost I thought might be a little bit dangerous as the main speed in this race. I thought the Perimeter wouldn't be compromised because he'd be stalking Captain Frost. I think Linda Rice begins this week 4 races away from 2,000 wins.
Yeah, she got 3 in here today and 1 down at Gulfstream.
She only scratched 1 today. Yeah, it's a big day. Yeah,
1 today,
only 1 scratch.
2 in?
She's actually, that was her 6,411th career scratch. She's going to see.
Should have been closer to 3,000 than 2,000.
She's going to see if she gets to 2,000 before 7,000 scratches. Actually, it's a race to the finish. Captain Frost, I think, is a little dangerous. Did show at least a little bit of life against Tougher last time out. I didn't want anybody else in here.
I thought maybe a Cotty Wildcat was a little interesting. I'm not sure about the sloppy track last time, but the 2 races.
Those Mahoning Valley races?
You know what? The race at Thistle going 6.
For a $5,000 claiming race?
Well, listen, 72 buyer speed figure. This horse has 3 70s in the last 6 races. You don't think that makes this horse a little competitive?
It does, but I'm just not convinced we're going to see that horse. But obviously, if we saw that horse, he could be a big player in here.
Yep.
Race number 1. Race number 2, a major scratch in here. I like Pendolino. He comes out. And you're left really with a 2 that ran 2-3 in the first race on December 13th. We'll take a look at it. You went to the one Pedalite, who did not run particularly well. I went to Dancing Slippers, who didn't run that well either. I prefer Dancing Slippers. I really don't care. I like Pendolite. Now I guess the only backup is Flattering Eyes, but these 2 appear faster.
Yeah, I went to Pedalite because she has a little bit more speed, and she had the 3-month layoff last time, whereas Dancing Slippers had the recency. Very, very hard, I would think, to get past these 2. Like you said, Flattering Eyes. She'd have to run the race of her life and need both of the horses we picked to stub their proverbial toes to be within earshot of them.
Yeah, the reason I prefer Dancing Slippers, to be honest, is that Pedalite was on top of a pace that held together and really had absolutely nothing in there, and at least Dancing Slippers was able to pick her up on the stretch. I don't really have a strong opinion. We're talking about horses now with the scratch of Pendolino that are going to be approximately 4-5 or 3-5 and even money and 6-5. It really is what it is. Race number 3. Race number 3 is, that issue that I have a lot, where we'll take a look at She's a Super Freak's last race. And in that race was Moon Heist, who I also want to talk about, where, as you know, I like She's a Super Freak. Now, somebody might say that last race came out of nowhere. I don't agree with them whatsoever. Her race 2 back, it just seemed like the rider completely gave up on her at the start, for whatever reason. The time before that, she chased a wicked pace, chasing outside against a gold rail against horse I Love My Honey, who ran very well and wired the field. Time before that at Saratoga, obviously something went wrong and she chased, but this was a horse that began her career and had another race that, like, she had some real talent. And she just hasn't really put it together. So her last race far from came out of nowhere. She's always had the ability, and now she's in a pretty weak field, and I think she'll be either in front or stalking. But I do think that Moon Heist, and I am not familiar with the rider who was named on Moon Heist, Julio Hernandez, but I see wherever he's been riding, he's won 18%. You have to think he's going to be more aggressive, because I think, and I've talked about this, my criticism of Jorge Vargas here, and I know he's a talented rider, but we've seen this from him before.
It's a lack of aggression.
He has allowed himself to get intimidated. It's like he has a speed horse, and he leaves from the gate, and somebody else rides like they want the lead, and he just goes, okay. And we've seen this over and over again, and he's not going to win races doing that. And Moon Heist is a horse that needs to be aggressively ridden, and I don't really think he ran that badly. I almost put him on top, because I don't like Bustin' Stones, who's the only other horse that you can reasonably pick in this race. I don't like Bustin' Stones, so I'm going to use 2-6 in here.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with everything you said about the Vargas comments, because the truth of the matter is, I think, especially in the wintertime in this colony, he more than fits. I think he's a really good rider.
I'm not saying he's not a good rider. I've seen him get intimidated with speed horses.
And we've seen plenty of guys and gals come through this room that have kind of gotten lost in the shuffle by just not simply being aggressive.
Yeah, and I mean,
I don't get it.
And we've all seen riders that came here and they weren't, and they got more aggressive, and it started working out for him. It's the beginning of the winter, and he's clearly a talented rider,
Yep.
but he can't allow other people to dictate how the races are going to be run. You need to dictate how races are going to be run.
Especially if nobody else wants to.
Well, and also, if you're riding speed horses, it's better to lose sending a speed horse to lead, to lose trying to rate speed horses. As far as Bustin' Scones, who David has a slight favorite, and maybe favored here, this horse ran extremely well on opening day at Belmont, and every race after that has been worse than the other one. And at this point, I don't think she has any form left whatsoever. Will I be shocked if she wins? No. But I have a real, I'm of the opinion that her recent form is closer to her last race than her other races, and her last race gets her nothing.
I agree.
You've picked a horse that is so ridiculously slow, I have absolutely no idea how you could have picked her.
Yeah, well, here's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that this filly,
crevice opens and the rest of them fall in it?
I'm hoping she takes advantage of a bunch of horses that are not very consistent. And that's all it really is. And I know she needs to get faster, but
faster.
She
needs a rocket ship on her back. She's not faster than Minute Mouse.
She needs to get faster.
And
I think the blinkers helped her. I know she's still got to get faster. I think the blinkers have helped her cause, and I'm going to hope she's going to take it. She can get these home, get past these at a price.
She's 6-1 morning line. She looks like a 50-1 shot to me, but okay. Race number 4, you've got 5 horses coming out of the same race, and we're going to take a look at some of them. And I want to make some comments about them. Hot Brown was compromised here because the rider decided to stay on the rail for the most part, and you did not want to be inside that day. Big Boy Mo didn't run that badly and was down the rail and then moved the 2-path in the stretch and gets a big rider change to Junior Alvarado. Quick Flash ran fine, but was 20-1 first time out and got a very good trip, but ran well. And Freudian Fate and Bulwark were both extraordinarily wide in here. You have gone to whom?
I went to Freudian Fate in here. Sources in and out pattern.
Did you go to high school with Henry Burnett?
I did not.
Armstrong Burnett.
Races.
Is it Henry Armstrong Burnett or Henry?
I think it's Henry Burnett Armstrong, but don't hold me to that. In any event.
How do you not know that?
I don't. How don't you know it?
Are you calling this race?
Well, sure. I am.
You better find out.
I better find out. It is Henry Burnett Armstrong.
Let's see if anybody wants
according to the small program.
Let's see if somebody's going to text me.
So this horse is 2 turf races, 2 dirt races. First dirt race came against Cool Boy in the second start of his career. First start on dirt when the track was favoring speed. Cool Boy got in front and just kept on going. Ran the horse back on the turf for whatever reason.
Favoring speed that day?
Yeah.
I don't think so, but okay.
Yeah, David picked that horse. And
I don't think track's favoring speed. But anyway, Cool Boy wide
I think
in the
it
field.
did. Yeah. And then he caught the sloppy track last time. And look, when you have a horse like Operation Roses win by 7 lengths, and it was a sloppy track, and he didn't come back and run that well, I think it's kind of hard to really get a good grip on that race last time.
He can win. I've got him 5th.
Horse only got beat a half length for 2nd, right?
I thought the horse you probably wanted to play against here was Quick Flash more than anything else. Just because he's 20-1 first time out, maybe he really liked the slop. Not that he can't win. They can all win. And Big Boy Mo gets that rider change. I thought Hot Brown was the horse to beat. I think Hot Brown's going to be favored in here. I have trouble believing that Quick Flash was 20-1 in his debut and is suddenly going to be a heavy favorite against 4 horses he ran against, all of whom were a fraction of the price that he was.
I think it's hard to...
I don't buy that.
I think it's hard to buy that race, and I put him 2nd. But it's kind of hard
win,
to buy that race because of, it was 20-1 and it was a slopped out track.
I don't see how he's a significantly shorter price than his rivals coming out of that race. It's not as though he just embarrassed them out there, and I think Hot Brown actually ran a much better race because he was down on the inside, and I'm not sure Freud and Fate didn't run better. As far as Bulwark I took because he beat, I had originally picked him 3rd. I'd originally gone 3-7-1, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to bet on Bulwark, because Bulwark, his debut was a joke in a terrible field. He comes back and he's aggressively placed 9 months later by Rick Schosberg. And he's a completely different horse. He's involved in a pace that collapsed with Hot Brown, and he runs this remarkable 4th. And he got some money that day, because he was 22-1, he could have been 22,000-1 based on his debut. And then last time out, he was out in the 50 path, maybe didn't really like the slop. I want to give him another chance on a dry track, so I'm going to bet a few dollars on him. But this is an interesting race. And the thing is that all of these horses are not bad. Every one of these horses is okay. I don't think you're finding, hoping to get lucky with a bunch of bad horses. I think all of these horses are, I think you could argue, I won't be surprised if in the next 2 months, 3 of these 5 will break their maiden. One will do it today, and maybe 4 of them.
I would probably, and to be honest with you, I think Save Constructor, the number 4, and I guess Stirring calls.
Well, you have to stick up for Rob Falcone. So,
but he would have to, if Rob has one area he probably got to get better with, it's with the firsters. But I mean, the other 5 can absolutely win this race.
You're going to have to be a good firster to win this race.
Yep.
Race number 5. Race number 5 is a tricky one. You picked your buddy Rudy.
So did you. You picked my buddy Rudy.
Right, but we'll take a look at the race he comes out of, where he was 3rd, and Super Silver was 2nd, and Jerome Avenue was 4th. Why did you pick him? Is they're lost in the fog?
They are lost in the fog this afternoon. This horse ran well first time, Rudy. This was a private purchase from Cherie DeVoe, and came up here.
Cherie owned him?
I'm sorry?
Cherie owned him?
No, Cherie had.
You said it was a private purchase from Cherie DeVoe?
Cherie was training the horse.
Well, it wasn't purchased from her.
Anyway, semantics.
It's a trainer change from Cherie.
This horse was privately purchased.
Yes, but a trainer change as well from Cherie.
Right. This guy. 3 days off from now on.
Things matter.
I don't know.
These things matter. Accuracy matters.
Have a dry run on Wednesday or something to get some of this out of you.
I was waiting for the guy to come fix my internet.
He did. So you were stall walking yesterday. That don't make sense.
No, that's fine. I was sitting home reading.
This horse's best efforts have come when he was more forwardly placed, when he was on the lead, and that wasn't happening last time. And it's probably not happening today because the horse that got in front of him last time. Or at the very least,
why do you like him if he's not going to be in front? If you think his best race to be in front,
because I'm not necessarily.
So why'd you bring it up?
Why did I bring?
Well, you said he's best.
Well, he's going to be more forward.
He's going to be more forward
than he was last time.
Why?
Because they're stretching out today, and he has the rail draw. And I would think they're going to be a little bit more aggressive. And I can't imagine this is going to unfold as quickly as it did last time.
Well, it didn't really unfold as quickly. The track was playing very fast early in the races, and speed was holding up. If anything, he was compromised last time because, unlike, he was coming from farther back than Super Silver was. And my problem with Super Silver, who is the horse to beat in this race, so I think it's preposterous, you have 4th, is that he's going to be, he's a horse that doesn't win. He's got 1 win in 13 starts in 4 seconds. So he's not really.
So why is he the horse to beat?
Because he's the fastest horse to race. His last few races are good. He's just better than most of these horses. You
think his last 2 races are that much better than Traveling's last 2 races?
I think his last race was better than Traveling's, but I think Traveling's a bit compromised. I think it's close, and I think at a slightly better price, I picked Traveling. I don't have a particularly strong position. My problem is that Super Silver doesn't win. What's the knock on Super Silver?
Well, that he doesn't win. That he doesn't win.
But from a talent standpoint, I mean, you've got him behind Spectator Sport. Well, Spectator Sport can't beat him unless he just forgets to show up today. Or Spectator Sport runs a race better than he's ever run before. He's never run a race nearly as good as the last three races.
Like he did last time.
No, he got a wicked pace that fell apart last time in a race that completely fell apart against horses that are considerably worse than these horses.
Well, that's not
considerably worse than these horses.
That is accurate. That's true.
I mean, House Limit.
But it was Limit
House
last
Limit.
time.
At least if you want to take a House Limit, I know you have to have him higher because it's Bill Mott.
Right.
You can't have a Bill Mott
Of
horse
course.
low. You'd be like the person who voted for him third for the Eclipse Award, despite the fact he
I
didn't
did
win a
not
Grade
do
1
that,
since
by the way.
May 11th.
That was not me.
He's too slow in his recent races. With House Limit, you can say, well, he did run 2 fast races earlier in his career in New York, so maybe he can get back to a better race. But it does seem, based on his last 4 races, that he's kind of plateaued at races that are way too slow to win here.
You know who he reminds me of a little bit? And this is the memory.
Drosselmeyer?
No. He reminds me a little bit of the horse that won and beat Haikal on Sunday.
Yeah, that was a very... Well, first of all...
Lone Rock. He needed a couple of races to go because, like you said, this horse has. Now, here's the
that
horse
race
in the
came
field that has the 2 races that would obliterate anything.
He does,
here.
but he also has
Right.
4 straight races that can't win. Listen, he's
Well,
a
at the
more
very
likely
least-
winner than Spectator Sport. Spectator Sport doesn't have a race that can
But
win
at the
here.
very least, the last 2 races, I think, show that there are some signs to life of this horse getting back to
The only thing
good
Spectator
form.
Sport has going for him is his throwing away stable, and their horses seem to be running extremely well everywhere. So maybe he's a different horse in a different
You don't
barn.
think Linda got this horse better?
She's not the only trainer that's winning races for drawing away.
I'm not saying that. What I'm saying to you is,
And these are horses that are improving.
You don't think there's a chance that Linda got this horse to improve last time? It's a.
I don't think
it's a considerable
I
trainer
don't think
upgrade.
he improved that much. I think he just got a very good trip and a very good setup.
Fair
in
enough.
there.
Well, if you believe that,
I just
then,
think
yeah.
the likes of the Travelings and Super Silvers are better than him. And House Party has that. House Limit, I mean, has those back races to get to.
House
to
Limit's the
maybe
one I
improve.
worry about the most. I'm afraid of the most because I feel like if he's rounding back into
Who's Bill
form,
Mott's you're afraid of?
if he's rounding back into
wins
form,
80% of his races.
he's going to beat these horses.
No.
Yeah. If he's rounding back into that form he had last winter.
But he's not. There's no sign of any of his races say he's rounding back in that form. Sorcerer ran 290 plus buyers, and he's run consistent low 70 figures. He's not rounding to any form. You're hoping, and if you like him, that he miraculously gets back to the races he ran here last December and January. It would be miraculous.
But why do you think it's a miracle? He had a 7-month layoff where obviously things were going wrong in the spring.
And then he ran the exact he ran the same 2 figs.
But he ran him in a sprint, which his first.
And then he
sprint,
didn't improve on it when he ran a mile. He just found the right field. Well, he dropped from a competitive race. He was 13-1 into a race he was 7-2 in. And he won with a 74 figure. Speed figures matter, Anthony.
Yeah, I know they do, but they also have to be.
I don't know if you know they do.
You don't think his last 2 races, speed figures aside, where at least he showed some life?
No.
I don't.
No,
I
see,
don't
you and I have a very
say,
basic different opinion. My opinion is horses win because they're better than the horses they're racing against. You think horses win for reasons I don't understand. Because I think you win because the horses behind you run slower races than you.
You don't think there are
Of course,
instances where horses
circumstance
win on
occasionally matters,
circumstance?
but what's the circumstance that makes him his last race is the perfect distance for him, a one-turn mile, and he ran the same race he ran the time before in an easier spot.
Well, I'll tell you, I would take him over Super Silver in a lunch bet.
Okay, let's make it 2 so I can round it up to 50 because
Sure.
he's about a 5-1 dog to beat him.
That's good. I'll take House Limit
yeah, I'll
Super
do that.
Silver for 2.
Okay, what's the difference? I'm up 48 lunches. 48, by the way. 48. 4-8. Frank is so proud of you.
The comeback starts today.
Anthony will be back on the I like the entry. I like the entry. I know we had that entry day here. Other than entry day, how have the entries done? Let's see, you got second at 6-5 with that Rudy won the other day in the 7th race. They're terrible bets. Anyway, I agree. They are the 2 horses to beat. We'll look at Dark Money, 2 races back. Thesis is sort of a mixed player here. Dark Money is the horse to beat, and I can excuse Dark Money's last race. Obvious Ring is better. They are way the horses to beat. I don't love them, but they're way the horses to beat.
Yeah, and I just could not justify making a top pick against them.
Pretty tough because Bill Mott had one
I
here.
guess.
Did you call Bill and ask him if it was okay?
Is that who you put on
Yeah,
top?
somebody has to carry the Bill Mott flag.
Well, I mean,
for us in
I
this
think
race.
if you were going to put anybody else on top over this entry, you would have to go to a horse like Durkin's Call.
Especially with Spiteful Kitten scratched.
Yeah, I couldn't find
Vickers legend.
anyone else. Well,
Can we make a bet with him?
No, I can't, because I don't know when those horses are going to just stop running, because they just started running out of nowhere, and I don't know when they're going to stop.
Happy to take Big Engine over him.
No. There'll be no lunch bets involving.
I actually think that
barn.
Hushin will probably finish ahead of him today,
Okay.
but not H-Man. Maybe H-Man. As far as Durkin's call, I kind of like Durkin's call. I like him cutting back, actually.
Do you really?
I like him cutting back. I think it's an interesting cutback. I thought he actually ran very well 2 and 3 back. I think he ran fine. I shouldn't say very well. He ran fine in those races, making middle moves, just sort of out of position in those races. And I think based on those races, the turn back will suit him very well. And last time out, he clearly didn't handle the sloppy sealed track at all, chasing. And I just think he's sort of an interesting turn back. I like him in here. I think he's the other horse. I don't disagree with you. The entry. I mean, if Big Engine's going to be the second choice, I'll take my chances, because I'm not a big Engine fan. I think he found the right field last time.
I agree.
I mean, he was lucky to win. Cool Boy should have won last time. Cool Boy ran a winning race. Cool Boy ran huge last time.
My hope is that H-Man takes some money again. Like you, I'm not a really big fan of Big Engine. I'm hoping I can play a 1-4,
The entry
1-5
could be a
in here.
huge
Yeah.
dog. I mean, the problem is Thesis never wins, and he's too slow. He actually ran okay last time, but he is too slow. Dark Money, if he runs his race, is too fast for these, and I'm not going to argue against that. I'm not going to be shocked when he wins.
Yeah.
I'm not way against him.
No, it's tough to be way
I have to bet
against him.
Durkin's call though.
Okay.
A few dollars.
That's fine.
Thank you.
You'll get the right price. Listen, he should be the best price of the peripheral players.
I won a bet yesterday. I laid Frank Miramotti 1,000,000 lunches to 1 that you would play that funny music. And Frank couldn't resist the possibility of 1,000,000 lunches, because that would get him through a week.
Don't make fun of Frank, man.
I think Frank would agree that was a
Can't make
great
fun
point.
of
I think he
Frank.
would agree it was a great point.
You can't make fun of Frank.
I told Frank to see Uncut Gems. Have you seen Uncut Gems yet?
No, but Frank has told me I'm going with Christine Saturday night.
Yeah, I can't believe you haven't seen it yet. It's a movie made for you.
I'm going
You're
Saturday
gonna
night.
text me after that movie and say
fuck.
I love that.
I'm going
I can't
Saturday
believe I waited
night.
so long.
He's asked me 3 times too.
It's-
You guys have this selective memory
I know
loss.
Anthony has a very busy life. He didn't have time. You're the only guy that has more free time than
Christine and I, it's tax season now, and we got to plan our dates accordingly.
First, we'll talk about horses that can win the race before we talk about Anthony picking his friend. Grump's Little Pot. Look, I understand that I'm not covering any brilliant ground here, and he's 4 to 5 morning line. But the reality is that Grump's Little Pot's pretty good. I mean, this win up at Saratoga was strong. He ran very well behind Performer his next start. Performer actually the run of the race, and he did not. And listen, Performer and Tax, they look like horses that legitimately belong in Grade 1 type races. I mean, Tax has been in them, and Performer's going to be in them, as Sugar's pointing to Carter, hoping all things go well for him. Could have a very, very big 4-year-old year in both of them. I just think he's too good for these horses, and I'm not going to try to beat him in here. I'm a fan of this horse. I've liked him, and he's too good for these horses. I mean, he beat Felix and Fabiola in this race. I do think Felix and Fabiola will benefit from 2 things. He will benefit from cutting back from the 2-turn race to 1 turn, even though he's run okay at 2 turns.
Okay.
I think he's better to 1-turn mile, just less distance. I don't think it's the turns as much as the distance.
Agreed. He got
And
tired.
also,
He just got tired
Don't
last
forget,
time.
his last race was his 2nd race in 9 days after a 4-month layoff. So now he's had a month since that race, or a good 3.5 weeks since it. I think he'll run better. Anthony, I understand that Mikey is a friend of ours and a close friend of yours to Nizzo. Play that funny music with his last race. Anthony, he is running against significantly
tougher.
better.
Yeah, I know,
We're not a little better, a lot better.
Yeah, but horse, before Mikey took him, this horse was getting good. He's
Anthony,
4 in a row.
he's-
I know it was against Lesser, Andy. I do, but I'm not going to sit here and take a horse. I don't
But he's
particularly
going to get
think.
overbet because he's
I
coming off
don't-
wins.
see,
You're
and I don't
falling for
agree
the
with
same
that.
trap
I don't
that
agree
the
with
public
that.
does. Well, he's 3 to 1 morning line. What price do you think he has to win this race?
I think what.
Do you really think he's 25% to win this race?
No, I don't think. You think he'll be 3 to 1? I don't think he'll be 3 to 1.
Oh, I
think he'll be higher
guarantee
than
he's
that.
short.
You think so?
Yes, unless Play That Funny Music goes off at some preposterously low price, in which case he's overbet. I think Play That Funny Music is probably, and I know I joke and I said I was 50 to 1 to win. He's probably 6 or 8 to 1 in this race.
I don't think he'll be. I think.
No,
he'll be
I think his
4
chances of winning are 6 or 8 to 1.
I think he'll be 4.
Maybe
4,
lower.
I think he'll be 4 or
Maybe
9 to 2.
Only if Grump's Little Todd is way overbet. People have trouble getting away from 3 straight open lengths wins. I don't know that he's a big favorite to beat Musical America in this race. Rob Atras on a massive run. Source is in good form. Source has back races that are fast. I'm actually a little scared of the 6 in here, Musical America.
Listen.
No? Not scared of him at all.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
I mean, if you didn't have to keep your Mott card, you might have had him 4th, right?
What about my Rudy card?
Well, your
It would've
Rudy
been
card
hard.
is firmly kept.
Yeah, firmly kept.
He's naming that horse after you.
Yeah.
The biggest A.
Yeah.
He'd pick
Trump's
me.
little
Rudy
tots.
should name a horse. He would pick me in a grade 1.
I made a lot of money when Billy
Did you
won the grade one, my friend.
Did you pick? What
Worried
was that
about
name of
that.
that horse that
Delaware,
they
yeah.
got ruined? That could have been a good horse that got ruined by when he ran the Arkansas, then the Pennsylvania Derby.
Oh,
Ran that big
man.
figure up in Saratoga.
Of course, guys, got beat like 2 lengths in the Dreyfong King's Bishop before it was the Allen Jerkins, right?
Actually, he got beaten a few lengths in the Practical Joke.
Practical joke, yeah.
You don't think it was the year before?
I think you're wrong.
Yeah, you're right. Because I think he ran against Connect, and I think you're right. He ran against Connect.
And then we did the show.
And Gunrunner in the.
He
in
got
the
beat off
PA.
the layoff when I was going to.
And I tried to tell you to
Connecticut for
bet
the
against
Breeders'
him. He
Cup.
got blown
And
off
the
the track.
second horse I picked won.
Yeah.
Oh man, what's the name of that horse? The Jeff
Asmussen claimed
Drown
him.
owned the horse.
Asmussen claimed him at Oaklawn for
Yeah,
like 50.
I can't remember the name of the horse. Yeah,
Some reason like America or something in the.
I can't
It's a
remember
good
right
horse.
now. Help! Somebody text us.
Where's
Where's
well,
Steve?
Steve? I don't know.
What's
Steve
going on
away?
here?
What's going on with him?
I don't remember now, but I know who you're talking about.
I know his name like it's the top.
Bella Galante, Jose Ortiz's first grade 1 winner, should be Princess of Selma. I bet my eyeballs on her that day at Delaware Park.
Anyway, I just think you're projecting, and It's one thing to project in horses that are going to be a fair price. I
didn't have morning lines because we printed Saturday. I thought this was supposed to be a bigger price today because it is such
With
a
all due
considerable
respect, I'm going to
class
take
jump.
David's morning lines over yours. Race number 8. Let's take a quick look at flat
I didn't say anything.
rate. Well, you think it's going to be 3 times the price that David
No,
does.
it was going to be
twice.
4 to 1, 9 to 2.
Oh, okay. Only if this 5 gets wildly overbid.
Okay.
We'll take a look at flat rate. There's flat rate. This is when flat rate was good. This is 2 races back behind one of your favorite horses, 1,000%. We've
Yeah.
got a stat for Linda Rice. Rudy Rodriguez, excuse me, coming off these 4 to 8 month layoffs and aren't that good. He's the horse to beat. I can't bet him on the drop down and layoff though. I don't like these horses.
Yeah,
they seem to underperform.
I picked them, but I
Of
just,
course you did.
if you
It's
want
Rudy.
to pick somebody else in here, fire away.
Had you not picked Rudy all day today?
I would have a serious. I don't know where you're going to go. I feel like Ari's Naughty Luca just shows up when things work to his
No,
advantage.
travel.
I feel like
Here's Naughty Lucas.
yeah, there you go.
Funny you should mention him.
funny, amazing, right? What happens when you watch the replays, Andy?
He
You
could
should
win.
try it.
I mean, if you don't like flat rate, he's the worst to beat.
Yeah, I guess, but isn't he hard to trust? Right? He runs a good race. He doesn't show up for 3 races. He runs a good race. He doesn't show up for 3 races.
No, I
It's
don't.
like rinse, repeat with him.
Well, hang on a second. He didn't show up against a much
The
better.
day you liked him when he
the
won.
Seanow field was a better field. The race 2 back, he did not run well. You're right. No, you're right. That's
You
fair.
know,
That's fair. No, that's fair. That's fair. I picked San Juan Diego because he's dropping down. He did not run well last time. First time for Ray. I'm going to hope he runs better. I don't have a strong
You
opinion.
can
I was looking-
peripherally like other horses in this race. The horse you put on top, to me, is the only other horse you could put on top in this heat.
It's tough. It's tough.
And
to-
you got to hope this horse is coming back to races
You know
that he
I'm
ran
going to
in the
have a
springtime.
little Rock and Joe in there. I mean,
Well,
one
yeah,
Rock-
that's your I mean.
Well, I mean, he has run buyers in the mid-60s against fields like this.
I was
You're
100
gonna
pounds
tell me that
once.
doesn't give
I
him a
was
chance?
5, but I was 100 pounds once.
Were you 100 pounds when you were 5?
I think so. I don't think that's that
I think
far from
I think
being
I was
wrong.
like 30 pounds
don't
when I
think-
was 5.
I want to say my first weigh-in, like when they used to weigh you in kindergarten, and then the teacher would put like the ruler
Did they
over
have to
the
have one
weight.
of those big scales?
It was like I think I was like 83 pounds.
Really? I was really tiny.
The jocks
People
would
think
always-
I'm small.
all
Like,
the jocks would
I'm
always
actually
feed me because they
closer
were
to
afraid I was
normal
gonna be
size now.
competition.
I was a very, very small kid. Anyhow, we're done. That's it. Johnny I up with a reprise of the scratches and changes.